Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes. I'm your host, Charlene, and we have a golden, summer-soaked episode today celebrating the sacred turn of the wheel. It is all about Lughnasadh. The celebration is traditionally honored on August 1st, which is still a week away. But like all good witchy celebrations, the energy is a little fluid. Whether you are tuning in today as this airs, tuning in a few days before or after, trust that the harvest magic is still ripe and waiting for you just to reach out and work with it. And I do like to do the featured notes on the celebrations a tad bit before they happen, just so you can get, some tips and tricks on incorporating the festivities into your day in and day out workings. Now, before we get swept away in the fields and firelight, I want to take a moment to say thank you, huge thank you, to each and every one of you who continues to grow this witchy corner of the world with me. Whether you've shared an episode, joined us on Patreon, or hit that follow button over on Instagram, I see you. I feel you, and I am so grateful. This podcast family keeps expanding in the most beautiful, organic ways, and it feels, kind of like watching a summer sunflower just reach for the sky. This little podcast space that we've built together has become so much more than I ever imagined. It's not just a show. It's not just a collection of episodes. It's a community, a family, a circle of kind, soulful humans who've shown me time and time again what true connection looks like. So truly, from my heart, I want to say thank you. The last few months have been heavy. If you've been listening along, you know a little bit about what's been happening in my world. I have been in a season of deep transition, a season of loss. It started with 2 of the 6 foster kittens I was bottle feeding, passing away. Then my beloved dog passed away. Then one of my cats passed away. And then my father passed. It was wave after wave. And for a while, I felt like I was just trying to stay above water. I don't even think I shared something on the previous episodes, but Ragnar got sick too. Like bad. He was in the emergency room. If you don't know who Ragnar is, well, officially he is my 3-year-old cat that you see on some of the social media posts and over on Patreon. He and I are tied. tied. Is he more like a familiar? Kinda. He came into my life as a day-old newborn foster kitten, and at a time when a very specific course was taken. To be honest, this course, like this witchy space. But more about him later. I just felt like, oh my God, this is it. This is how I break. I have been so strong and handled the loss after loss after loss. Like this was it. This was the final one that would do me in. Well, I'm happy to say that $1,500 later, he is actually doing well and has made a full recovery. But every time I shared even a sliver of what was going on through here, you guys all met me with love. You sent messages, notes, and comments, and quiet words of support. Some of you told me your own stories of grief, of, like holding it all together, of letting it all fall apart and rebuilding slowly, breath by breath. And let me tell you, that mattered, like more than I can say. Your words weren't just kind, they were grounding. They reminded me that I didn't have to walk alone through this, and that, sharing our pain doesn't make us weak. It creates connection. It creates community. It heals. There's a little bit of a myth in this spiritual and magical community that we always have to be, like high vibing, right? Always in alignment, always glowing with clarity and purpose. But, grief doesn't follow a lunar calendar. It doesn't care what phase the moon is in. It shows up uninvited, and it asks us to sit with it, to learn from it, to soften, to unravel, and eventually to grow new roots. But you've helped me do that. Every message, every moment of understanding has been a part of my healing. You reminded me that even when things feel dark, there are people out there holding light for me. You did that. So from the deepest place in my heart, thank you. Thank you for witnessing me in the mess, in the quiet, in the grief. Thank you for holding space, and thank you for just being here. I do not take this community for granted. I am so honored to walk this path alongside you through the light, the shadow, and all of the sacred in between. Okay, let's set the scene together for today's episode, shall we? Take a deep breath and close your eyes if you can, and imagine this. Golden fields waving gently in the midsummer breeze, their edges just kissed by sunlight. Fruit hangs heavy on the vines, waiting to be picked. And somewhere nearby, warm bread is baking. Its scent is rich and earthy and comforting, like offerings to the gods themselves. There's laughter in the distance, a feast being prepared, and in the center of it all, you. Present, grateful, glowing. That, my friends, is the essence of Lughnasadh. And this episode is kind of like a love letter to that feeling. We are going to talk about harvest, both in the literal sense and the deeply personal one. Like, what have we been growing? What's ready to be celebrated or even released? And how can we take this energy and weave it into our daily lives, our businesses and workspaces, and our rituals? So grab your tea, your journal, or your favorite summer snack and settle in. Today's episode is golden, grounding, and full of witchy wisdom. It's time to honor the harvest within and all around us. Let's celebrate Lughnasadh and the turning of the wheel. Before we dive into today's Sabbat, Lughnasadh, I want to take a quick moment to ground us in something a little bit bigger, something that we are all a part of, no matter where we live or how we practice. I'm talking about the Wheel of the Year. Now, if you're new to the craft or just kind of brushing up on your seasonal magic, the Wheel of the Year is this beautiful cyclical map of the seasons. It's a sacred calendar that follows the sun's journey through the sky. But for us, it's more than just a calendar. It's a rhythm, a heartbeat, a sacred spiral that carries us through the light and the dark, through growth and rest, through beginnings, endings, and everything in between. The wheel is made up of 8 festivals, 4 solar sabbats, and 4 cross-quarter fire festivals. We've got the big ones like winter and summer solstice, the spring and autumn equinox. And then tucked between those are the ones with deep agricultural and spiritual roots. These are going to be Imbolc, Beltane, Lughnasadh, and Samhain. Each one is a moment to pause, kind of reflect, and then tune into what's happening not just around us, but within us. We're not just honoring the seasons of the earth, we are honoring the seasons of our lives. So, when we talk about planting seeds at Imbolc or, celebrating growth at Beltane or even harvesting our efforts like now at Lughnasadh, we're not just talking about literal farms or fields. We are talking about the energy in our hearts, our homes, our goals, and even our own healing. It's about living in rhythm with the earth instead of against it. Now, the wheel reminds us that rest is sacred. Death is a part of the cycle and that joy is worth celebrating. And honestly, that nothing lasts forever. But everything comes back around again. And that's kind of comforting, isn't it? So whether you mark, like every Sabbath with a full-on ritual, or honestly just light a candle and say a quiet thank you, know that you are turning into the wheel with the rest of us. And that's magic. That's the connection. That is what we are all here for. All right, let's talk about the golden light of Lughnasadh. Oh, and you know what? Let's do this. Before I go any further, let's talk real quick about the word Celtic. Because depending on who you are talking to, you are going to hear it said, or rather pronounced, a couple of different ways. Some folks say it with a hard K sound, right? Celtic. And some say it with an S sound, Celtic. So what gives? I did get some feedback with a post back with one of my Fae episodes by someone who did not like me pronouncing it Celtic. And I get it, I really do. I do. When we are talking about Celtic culture, like the ancient tribes, the mythology, the magical traditions, that is or should be the one with the hard K sound. That's the older, historically accurate pronunciation used in academic and cultural circles. The Celtic, like the S sound version, I think tends to show up more in like modern sports. Think of like the Boston Celtics. And that pronunciation kind of stuck around in, I think, certain places, especially in the United States where I live. So for our purposes, since we are talking about the old ways, the myths, the seasonal celebrations, we're going forward with Celtic. And I apologize for offending anyone previously. That certainly was not my intent. Moving forward, though, I will be pronouncing it Celtic. But hey, for you, what you do in your own personal side of things, no judgment here. Say how it feels right to you. The magic will still hear you. All right, so let's think into the moment. Back on the wheel, Lughnasadh, sometimes called Lammas. This is one of those Sabbats that it just doesn't always get the same spotlight as Samhain or Beltane. But oh, it is powerful. It's golden, and it's all about that first harvest. Did you just ask? What is the difference between the names Lughnasadh and Lammas? Are they the same thing? Well, kinda, sorta. Yes and no. So Lughnasadh is the older Celtic name for the Sabbat. It comes straight from the god Lugh, and it is a festival that was rooted in honoring his foster mother and celebrating the first harvest. It is very tied to Gaelic traditions and was historically celebrated in places like Ireland and Scotland. Now, Lammas, on the other hand, it's like the Anglo-Saxon version. It means loaf mass, like literally, the blessing of the bread. It came from the Christian tradition, but it overlaps pretty nicely with Lughnasadh because it also marked, the beginning of the grain harvest. So people would bake loaves of bread from the first, sheaves of wheat and then take them to the church to be blessed. So while the origins are different, I think the vibe is still very harvesty-ish and sacred. Now, today, most modern witches kind of use them interchangeably, I found, depending on their background and tradition. Lughnasadh definitely has a stronger connection to the Celtic and pagan roots, and Lammas is that like earthy bread baking type energy. But both are totally valid, and both are a celebration of abundance and gratitude and just the magic of the turning season. So whether you call it Lughnasadh, maybe you call it Lammas, either way, the wheat is golden, the magic is ripe, and it is time to celebrate the work that we've done. For us here today, I personally call it Lughnasadh. So that's what I will say moving forward. Now, Lughnasadh is rooted in ancient Celtic tradition and named after the god Lugh. Now, Lugh was no ordinary god. He was a warrior, a poet, a craftsman, a master of many, many talents. Kind of a magical Renaissance man before the Renaissance even existed. But this Sabbath, though, it isn't really about his glory. It's more about his grief and his gratitude. So the legend goes that Lugh held this festival to honor his foster mother, Teltuwe. She died from exhaustion after clearing the land of Ireland so it could be farmed. Her sacrifice made the harvest possible, and Lughnasadh became the festival that carried this energy, kind of a blend of thankfulness, hard work, and sacred offering. At its heart, Lughnasadh is the celebration of that first grain harvest. So think barley and wheat and corn, like everything golden and glowing under the sun right now. It's that time of year when the fields are just full and heavy with the results of long months of effort. Now, the sun has been shining right, the rains have come and gone, and now the earth is just ready to give us what we've worked for. That's a pretty important piece too, like what we've worked for. Lughnasadh honors the labor of the season, the planting, the tending, the showing up again and again, even when it's hard. It is a time to pause and recognize, hey, we did something. We made it grow. Whether it's a physical garden or something maybe a little bit more symbolic, this is when we start to see the fruits of our efforts. But here's where it gets beautifully bittersweet. Lughnasadh is also a moment of sacrifice. To harvest grain, we have to cut it down. The grain must die so we can be fed. That's powerful stuff. It's not just a celebration, it's a recognition of the sacred exchange, right? Life feeding life. Now, in our spiritual practice, we can see this as a mirror for our own transformations. What needs to be released so something else can grow? What part of us has completed its purpose and is ready to be let go, lovingly, so our soul can be nourished? Sabbat reminds us that, letting go isn't always a loss. Sometimes it is the doorway into our next evolution. All right, let's wander into the heart of the old stories, the golden threads of folklore that just still flutter around us at this time of year, if we are quiet enough to listen. Because while Lughnasadh is absolutely about the harvest, about gathering the fruit of what we've grown, well, it's also about remembering the people, the places, and the practices that have helped shape this sacred Sabbath. Let's start with one of the most beautiful pieces of the Lughnasadh lore, which is the Tailteann Games. These weren't your average country fair games or casual afternoon picnics. No, these were sacred, spirited gatherings held in honor of Tailteann, the foster mother of the god Lu. Now, according to legend, Tailteann worked herself to death, clearing the land of Ireland, literally exhausting her body so the land could be fertile and the people could plant and thrive. She gave everything so others could eat. And in return, Lu, out of deep love and grief, declared there would be games and festivals in her name every year. So around the time of Lughnasadh, the Celtic tribes would gather in large fields, usually the same place like year after year, and hold what we now call the Tailteann Games. These included athletic competitions like foot races, wrestling, spear throwing, and chariot races. But they also featured storytelling and poetry competitions and song. Now, the poet was just as honored as the warrior. The fastest runner and the best storyteller were both celebrated. What I love most about this tradition is that it just wasn't, about like showing off or winning trophies. It was really about community, about remembering someone who sacrificed for the greater good, about coming together to say, hey, we made it this far. We are still here. Let's celebrate life while we can. And woven into this gathering energy was something I find deeply romantic and radical. That is trial marriages. Yes, really. Two people could stand before the community and handfast, binding themselves together in sacred partnership for a year and a day. It wasn't permanent, not yet. They had time to live and love and grow together. And if by, the next Lughnasadh, when it came around and they still wanted to be together, they'd make it official. If not, they could part ways with respect, having learned from the connection. It was consent-based, flexible, and honored, free will in a way many modern relationships could certainly learn from. Now, alongside the games and the marriages came the feasting, because what is a harvest without a table full of the season's bounty? Now, bread made from the first grains. They had berries picked at their ripest. Mead and cider was passed around. These were not like small meals. They were offerings of joy and nourishment, of like everything the earth had so generously provided. The feast was part of the celebration, part of ritual, like a way to say thank you and taste the rewards of really hard work. And let's not forget craft fairs, like artisans and tradespeople would travel in for the event, bringing everything from it's like handmade tools and woven garments to charms and jewelry and healing tinctures. It was a time to barter, to bless, and to show off the skills that had been cultivated over the long season. Every booth and carving, every jar of herbs held the magic of intention. Even now, as witches, we can still feel that thread when we support handmade goods and magical wares, don't we? And most of us aren't gathering on ancient hillsides with thousands of others. We don't wrestle in sacred circles or propose hand fastings under oak trees at twilight. But we do keep the spirit alive. And that is what Lughnasadh asks for. It wants us to remember and to reimagine. So in our modern practice, we might bake bread as a ritual, not just as food, but as spell work. Each ingredient stirred with intention, each loaf blessed with gratitude. Maybe we braid the dough to represent the interconnectedness of life. Maybe we speak our harvest goals to the rising east. And maybe when we break it, we share a piece with our ancestors or our altar or someone who supported our journey. We also bring in the old tradition of the corn dollies into our homes for Lughnasadh. This is a small figure made from the last sheaf of grain, or these days for us, right? Some raffia, some dried grasses, but it's shaped into a feminine form and placed on the altar to represent the spirit of the harvest, the last bit of energy and wisdom gathered from the season. It stays with us through the darker months, watching over our dreams and rest. Then at Imbolc, we either burn it or bury it to release this energy and spirit, into the soil, kind of completing that cycle. Whether we are baking bread, though, crafting, gathering with friends, or simply lighting a candle in solitude, we are still turning the wheel. We are honoring the past by bringing in, the present, by wrapping ourselves in stories that once echoed over fields and fires and letting them shape the way that we live today. That, to me, that's what Lughnasadh folklore is all about. It's not just the stories themselves, it's the way those stories live on through us. All right, my magical friends, we have explored the roots of Lughnasadh and the folklore that carried this sabbat through centuries. Let's bring it into the here and now a little bit more. Because you don't need a field of wheat or a bonfire big enough to see from space to celebrate the first harvest. We've got plenty of ways to work with this energy in our own cozy, meaningful, everyday witchy lives. Let's go to the heart of the home. Let's start in the kitchen. Bread magic is such a sacred, tangible way to honor the festival. Think about it, right? We take the grain, we mix it with water, sometimes moon water. We stir, we knead, we give it life. Then we heat it, we transform it, and it becomes something nourishing. That's literal spell work. This time of year is perfect for baking with intention, just like that. Maybe it's a simple country loaf, or maybe it's a sweet corn muffin. Before it goes into the oven, carve a little sigil into the dough, something for abundance, health, or peace. Whisper a blessing over it. Let the scent of baking bread just be the spell itself, rising and spreading through your space. We can keep the kitchen witch energy going by using some seasonal recipes. Our magic absolutely lives in the food we make. Try a berry pie with a sun-shaped crust, or roasted corn with butter and herbs from your own garden, or maybe your windowsill pot. But whip up some herbal butter with rosemary, thyme, basil, whatever feels lush and fragrant. Every stir, every little sprinkle, every taste, like it's a spell. A celebration of the earth's generosity in your own hands, bringing it to life. And maybe you're feeling the call to do something a little more fiery. All right, so let's talk bonfires and feasting, because I am all about a good fire. This is a powerful moment to burn away what no longer serves us. Write it down. Old fears, stale stories, burned out goals, and offer them to the flames. You don't need a huge outdoor fire pit. A fire-safe cauldron, a grill, even a candle flame with some heat-proof type dish will do the trick. Let go of what you don't need anymore, and then celebrate, feast. Whether you're with friends or flying solo, make a beautiful little Lughnasadh plate and eat with intention. Enjoy the fullness of summer and just all it has to offer and has offered us so far. Now we also have our classic fire energy, which is our candle work. This sabbat just glows in hues of gold and orange and yellow, colors of cornfields and marigolds and those late sunsets. Light a candle in one of these shades and just, sit with it. Let it be your mini bonfire. Speak your gratitude aloud. Like, what are you proud of? What have you harvested this year, internally or out in the world? And then place a little note, beneath the candle flame or something with a wish or a goal on it for the rest of the year. Let that fire know what you are still growing. And then when it is all said and done, when the spell work is over and the feasting is kind of winding down, give something back. Offering spells are simple, beautiful ways just to kind of close your Lughnasadh celebration. Take a small piece of your bread, maybe a few berries or some herbs, and place them on your altar or even outside in nature. Leave it at the base of a tree, in your garden, or even on your balcony in a little bowl. Say thank you. Offer up your love. This is your way of honoring the spirit of the harvest, the land, the sun, the effort, and the mystery. These modern practices might not look exactly like the festivals of old, but the energy, it's the same. It's all about connection. It's remembering where our abundance comes from. It's our hands, our hearts, the earth, and each other. And it's about sharing that magic, even if it's just through a slice of warm bread or the flicker of a candle flame. All right, let's cozy up for a moment and talk about harvest, not just the traditional sense of corn stalks, apples, and pumpkins, although, yes, please, to all of those. But the harvest happening in our daily lives. The kind we don't always pause to notice. The emotional, spiritual, and personal harvest. The big wins, the quiet, progress, the, oh, wow, hey, I really did that moment. Because this time of year, as the wheel turns and we inch towards autumn, well, it invites a powerful kind of reflection. It's less about hustle and more about honoring right now. It is the season where we step back from the planting and the pushing and finally start to reap. So what I want to ask you, what have you been growing this year? Maybe it's a relationship that has deepened, one you've really watered with intention. Maybe it's your healing journey and wow, has it been hard. But you're beginning to feel space now where the pain used to live. Or maybe you've been nurturing a dream, a project, or your business, and you're starting to see some fruit. Even if it's small, even if it's just the first green shoots poking through the surface, that counts. Like it all counts. This season gives us full permission to pause, to look around and say, hey, I did something. And let's be real, we often skip that part, don't we? Like we rush from goal to goal, from spell to spell, from launch to launch. But this is our reminder to just slow it down. We get to step into that golden energy of gratitude, reflection, and yes, we get to celebrate. So here's a little journal prompt to stir your thoughts. Write down and work on this question. What seeds did I plant earlier this year that are now ready to be harvested or shared? Let that prompt guide your pen today. It might be that you are ready to launch something, or speak your truth, or simply sit and witness what's bloomed in your life. You might realize your harvest isn't what you expected, but it is exactly what you needed. And that is a sacred type of magic. And hey, business witches, yeah, I see you. Like this is your call to open up your ledger of wins too. Yes, like literally, okay, metaphorically, go in there and update it. What goals did you hit this year? What unexpected blessings came your way? What failures taught you something vital? This is a powerful bookkeeping ritual for like the soul. Even the tiniest victory, like sending a scary email, updating your website, or trying something new, deserves to be recorded. Whether you're running a shop, maybe it's a service, a creative dream, maybe you're holding it all together behind the scenes. Take a breath. Like this season belongs to you too. It is the universe saying, hey, look what you've made. Take it in. You grew this. So as the days begin to shorten and we feel that shift towards the inward energy of, autumn getting closer, let's hold space for our harvest. Let's name it, claim it, like celebrate it. And yes, even grieve the things that didn't quite bloom. That's part of it too. We're not here to grow all year round. Sometimes we're here to rest, to reflect, to, kind of prepare for what's next. But first, we have to harvest. Oh my goodness, I just realized. I usually start off our episodes about the Wheel of the Year celebrations with the correspondences, and I totally forgot. Okay, let's backtrack. Now, if you're anything like me, you usually want to not only celebrate the seasons, but immerse yourself in its energy. That can be done through colors, herbs, deities, crystals, and maybe a little bit of tarot. So let's walk through the beautiful correspondences and magical add-ins that help bring Lughnasadh to life. Let's start with color because this sabbat really is just so visual. These are the hues of like ripening fields and sun's glow on your skin and loaves of golden bread pulled from the oven. So gold, start there. This is the energy of success and confidence and solar vitality. It is a color of celebration, manifestation, and it is just perfect for honoring the fruits of our labor. Another Lughnasadh color is going to be red. This is, what fuels passion and courage, reminding us of the heat and the heart that went into this season's growth. Orange is all about joy, creativity, and the sweet, juicy life that's ready to be enjoyed. It's a spark of fire in ritual candles and those sunset skies. Perfect color for Lughnasadh. But also wheat brown, that earthy, grounding color of brown that just represents the literal harvest, the soil that held our dreams and the steady work that we've put in. You can dress your altar, you can dress your body, or even like your dinner table with these colors to just fully welcome the festival's glow. Now, our crystal allies during Lughnasadh, they are all warm, sunny, and full of confidence. Citrine is the stone of abundance, prosperity, and joy. It is perfect for reflecting on all that you have manifested this year. Carnelian just kind of stirs our inner fire, right? Giving us a boost to creativity, motivation, and a tad bit of courage. Plus, it's just so stunning to look at in candlelight. Amber's good right now. It's ancient, it's golden, it's protective. It kind of carries the wisdom of the sun and the memory of the earth. It is a wonderful addition for ancestral work and honoring those grain spirits. You can tuck one of these in your pocket, use them in a ritual, or honestly just place them nearby while you bake bread or work on some tarot cards. Let's talk plant magic because this is the season of lush. Lughnasadh celebrates with wheat and corn. These are like your quintessential harvest symbols. Place some dried stalks on your altar or bake with intention to honor the grain gods and goddesses. Sunflowers aren't just gorgeous, they truly track the sun, embodying joy and confidence and strength. Use the petals or the seeds in offerings. Rosemary for remembrance and protection. Perfect right now. Lovely if you're doing maybe some ancestral work for this time of year. Sage helps with purification and creating sacred space. Burn it, add it to bundles to cleanse and reset your harvest altar. And basil just brings in abundance and love. I would try sprinkling it into breads maybe, your sauces, and just speak your blessings as you stir. I think herbs all around are going to be amazing. We can make herb-infused oils. You can bundle your herbs into a mini charm to carry this seasonal energy with you. Now for deities, this is Lu's moment. Lughnasadh literally means the gathering of Lu. He is the Celtic god of skill, craftsmanship, that light and harvest that we've talked about. Offer him something homemade, some bread, some poetry, a crafted talisman, and speak with intention. You might also feel the presence of Demeter or Ceres maybe, goddesses of the grain who teach us about the cycles of life, of abundance, and what it means to release when the time comes. Any solar deity or grain spirits is a beautiful energy to invite in right now though. Even local land spirits or ancestral farmers can be honored in your practice. Light a candle, say thanks, and share a bite of your meal. It's all part of the sacred exchange. All right, you guys know tarot is not my area of expertise. I'm definitely still learning. I think we're always learning about it. But I did pull a couple ideas if we want to do some of that energy work with Lughnasadh. And I thought maybe the Empress and the Seven of Pentacles. So the Empress is lush and fertile, full of nurturing and abundant vibes. She is the embodiment of summer's creative force and a beautiful reminder to just kind of enjoy what you've created. And I thought also maybe the Seven of Pentacles speaks to that pause and reflection phase, right? Stepping back to assess what's working, what's ready to harvest, and what might need a little more care and time. Try this question when you pull your cards, what harvest am I being invited to claim, and where might I need to keep tending? All right, now that we've talked about the glowing beauty of Lughnasadh with its sun-soaked colors, herb bundles, golden loaves of bread, and fiery gratitude, let's bring it in where many of us spend most of our time, and that is the office. Whether you're remote, in person, leading a team, or holding it all down as a one-witch show, there are so many ways to weave Lugnasadh's magic into your work life. And honestly, this Sabbath's themes are made for the business world. I mean, we're talking harvest, progress, evaluating goals, giving thanks, celebrating wins. Yes, please. All right, so how do we take this energy and make it feel a little natural, sacred, and empowering in a corporate or business setting? Well, I say we start with reflection. Like, what have you been growing at work? Lughnasadh asks us to take stock. It doesn't have to be metaphorical. Literally, open your notebook, planner, or your digital dashboard and look at what you've planted and tended to since the start of the year. Maybe it is a big project that's finally launching. Maybe it's a tough client relationship that's grown a little easier. Maybe it's a boundary that you've held with grace. Or maybe it's a new role, title, or idea that has just taken root. This is your harvest, and it's time to honor it. So you take 5 minutes before a meeting or on your lunch break and say, hey, here is what I'm proud of. Here's what I've accomplished. Here's what I've grown. This is Harvest Magic in like a business edition. All right, how about a new office altar too? This can be a physical notebook, a section in your planner, or a sticky note on your desktop, whatever fits your vibe. Log your wins, celebrate your milestones, even those tiny ones like sending that hard email, showing up authentically, or finally delegating that task. This becomes your energetic altar, a sacred space to hold gratitude and recognize your magic in action. And if you are managing a team, say bring this to a group level. Have everyone share a recent win. Normalize celebrating progress, not just outcomes. I do also like some subtle Lughnasadh magic at the desk. This is the, fun witchy bits that we can just kind of sneak into our workspace. Colors, super easy. Add gold, orange, or those brown wheat colors on your Post-its, your pens, your folders, even just a scarf or a mug. These colors kind of activate that solar confidence and that grounded creativity. Crystals, keep a little citrine or carnelian on your desk. Let it charge your workspace with abundance and motivation. For our herbs and scents, rosemary or basil essential oil in a diffuser would be great, or those desk little roller balls, to add some clarity, protection, and energetic focus. And then our snacks, snacks with intention. Bring in a sunflower seed trail mix, a slice of cornbread, or even a loaf of shared office bread. Speak blessings into your food before you eat it. This makes it edible spell work. Now, if you happen to work remotely, even better. You get full altar freedom. Light a gold candle, pull a card, burn a little sage or rosemary, and declare your workspace a sacred zone of productivity and peace. And it's also a good time for some solar work ethics, like a mid-year reset, if you will. Lughnasadh, tied to the sun and the god Lu, master of many skills, invites us to embrace our own versatility. So if work has felt maybe a little stale, heavy, or just you're unmotivated recently, this is your reminder to reconnect with what lights you up. Ask yourself, what skill or gift have I overlooked that I could bring to the table? Where can I infuse more joy, more fire, more meaning into my daily work? You don't have to overhaul everything. Just pick one way to realign your energy with your purpose at work. Let Lou walk you through your office halls or Zoom calls. Now, we can also celebrate together, even if it is subtly at the office. Bringing harvest energy into the workplace doesn't mean, or doesn't have to mean, big bonfires in the parking lot. Although honestly, I'd attend. If you had it, I would go. It can be a casual email celebrating small wins, a shared lunch with intention, a team gratitude practice, a kind note left on a co-worker's desk, in a Teams message or a Slack message. This is the Lughnasadh spirit: community, acknowledgement, and shared celebration. So whatever works for you. At work, please know that you are allowed to bring your magic into the workplace. You don't have to hide your spiritual spark under spreadsheets and deadlines. I think the Sabbat reminds us that we are whole, that we work with the wheel of the year in every realm. Yes, even while replying to emails or crunching numbers. So I say go ahead, harvest your wins. Light a metaphorical or literal candle and walk through the office like the radiant sunbeam that you are, because you've done the work. Now it's time to celebrate it. So what is everybody doing this year? Lughnasadh is just around the corner. What can we do to make it feel extra special? I said, just make it personal, right? It doesn't have to be about ancient tradition. It's about how we live and love and show up in the modern world. Maybe we bake a loaf of bread with our intentions folded into the dough. Or maybe we hold a golden hour picnic with friends, soaking in the warmth of community. Maybe we set up a tiny harvest altar on our desk or our kitchen table. Maybe we pull tarot and journal about our mid-year reflections. And maybe we just offer thanks to the land, to our bodies, to the lessons that have shaped us. Let's celebrate the seeds that we planted back in January and in spring. Maybe not all of them have sprouted the way we hoped, and that's okay. Lughnasadh reminds us that, even what didn't grow offers something. Wisdom, patience, a new way forward. And for what did bloom, let's throw a little mini party for it, right? Even if it's just a candle lit in quiet pride. Most of all, though, let's just make space for joy. Not the performative kind, but, like the real belly deep kind. The kind that says, I've worked hard. I've survived some things. I've made progress. And you know what? I get to enjoy it now. So as the days slowly begin to shorten and we prepare for the inward journey that autumn brings in September, let's just take a moment. Just one beautiful breath to honor your 2025 harvest. You are a weaver of worlds, a grower of dreams, and a keeper of sacred fire. And this Lughnasadh, well, it's yours to celebrate in whatever way lights up your soul. All right, my witchy work wishes family, I do have a poem for today, and of course, the moon update for this week. I will go grab those notes, and I will be right back. And guess who just walked in? Ragnar. Hey, Ragnar. You want to come help? Okay, baby. All right, let's start with the poem. And it goes. The sun hangs low in golden grace, its warmth still strong upon our face. The fields are full, the grains stand tall. It's time to honor summer's call. We've planted dreams with care and will, and now we see them blooming still. Through every tear and hopeful start, we've grown some magic in the heart. The bread is baked and the herbs are tied. The joy we've sown we cannot hide. So raise your cup, your voice, your flame, and proudly call your harvest's name. For work we've done and seeds we've sown, for all the ways our truth has grown. We light a candle, set it free, and say, this light came from me. To Lu, to land, to fire and sun, to every goal we've just begun, we offer thanks, we rest, we rise, with golden grain beneath the skies. So take this day, this sacred spark, and hold it glowing in your heart. The wheel turns slow, but turn it will, and we are witches growing still. Okay, our moon update. Well, we are right in the heart of our July dark moon. Isn't it amazing? Doesn't it feel wonderful? Well, for me, it feels wonderful. For today's Lughnasadh episode, though, on Wednesday, the 23rd of July, we are actually in a dark moon phase. And this phase is prime witchy time. It is such a good vibe for going inward, releasing, and planting intentions in the unseen soil. Think of it as the sacred pause, the hush before the heartbeat of the new Leo moon later this week. It is that magical in-between space where we can do some of our deepest work. All right. How about release and let go? Like for real this time? This is the moon's composting phase. So anything that feels old and heavy, expired, like this is our window to set it down. Think about what you do not want to bring with you into the next lunar cycle. Write down a thought, pattern, or fear that you are ready to release. Burn it. Bury it in the garden. Whisper something like, as this moon is dark, so too I shed. This weight is gone. These words are said. It's also a good time for some shadow work and inner alchemy. The dark moon energy is introspective and honest. It's when the veil thins, not just to the other world, but to our own inner depths. This is a beautiful time just to sit with your shadows and ask, what am I afraid to face right now? Where am I playing it small? What part of me is asking to be heard? And then, hey, journal without filters. Create a quiet ritual where you can just listen to what arises. It's also a good time for restorative stillness and a little bit of dream space. Dark moon isn't about doing. It's about being. It's your permission slip to rest, to nap, to cancel non-essential plans, and listen to your dreams. Make tea, turn off your phone, lie on the floor and listen to music that just feels like velvet. Dreaming, even daydreaming during this time, is a form of spell work. All right, divination and spirit work. This is a great time, sacred time, just to reach out to your guides, your ancestors, or your own higher self. The dark moon creates that liminal reflective space, perfect for divination. Try pulling cards and asking, what is falling away? What is rising? What truth is waiting for me in the dark? You can try scrying with water, obsidian, or candle flame. Try sitting in quiet meditation with your altar or ancestor space. Dark moon is also great for womb and that void type magic. For those of us birthing new ideas or businesses, this moon phase is kind of like the cosmic womb. It's the dark soil before the seed sprouts. So even if you can't see the growth yet, just trust this is where the true magic happens. Visualize the dream that you want to be planting soon. Journal and ask, what am I ready to create in the dark, unseen, but sacred world? Sit with the mystery. Not everything needs a plan just yet. Dark moon magic isn't flashy. It's felt. It's the sacred exhale before the next inhale. It's that moment that we curl up like little seeds and trust the becoming. Just wrap yourselves in stillness. Listen to your intuition and know that just because you can't see the moon doesn't mean her magic isn't working. Now, real quick, since I won't talk with you again before the new Leo moon happens, what is slowly like tomorrow, right? Friday, we are now officially in Leo season. And it starts off right away with this new moon. So if you can stay with me a little bit more, let's talk real quick about it, because if there ever is a new moon that says go big or go home, it is the new moon in Leo. And here we are in the heat of summer with the sun just beaming in Leo. And this moon is showing up like a spotlight asking, hey, what do you really want to shine for? This is not a whispery, watery moon that we are walking into. This one carries roar. New moons are always about beginnings, but Leo, it brings in the drama, the confidence and the heart. It is the fire magic. It's the mirror magic. It's main character energy in its most sacred form. Not ego-driven, but soul-led. So I'd say let's lean into it. Leo is ruled by the sun. It's that solar energy. It's bold, expressive. It is heart-centered. This is the zodiac sign of the inner child, the performer, the loyal protector, and the royal creator. Leo doesn't just exist. Leo radiates. So under this new moon, I think we are invited to ask, what lights me up? Where am I hiding my magic or my voice? And what would I do if I wasn't afraid of being seen? This isn't just about ambition. It is about alignment. Leo wants you to shine from the inside out. And that means doing things that feel true and joyful and just lit from your own sacred spark. This Leo new moon is about confidence. It's a beautiful time to step into your power, whether it's launching something, claiming your voice, or just simply allowing yourself to take up space. This is your moment. No more shrinking. This new Leo moon is about having creative visions. Leo rules art, expression, and creativity. So, get paint on your hands, sing, dance, rework your vision board, make something just for the fun of it. This Leo new moon is about having courage. The moon says, face the thing, have the conversation, start the passion project, own your worth, even if your hands shake. And it's about worthiness and just pride. Under this moon, pride is sacred. It's saying, I've worked hard, I've shown up, and I deserve to glow. Leo just loves affirmations, so write a list of I am type statements, that reflect who you are becoming, and say them aloud in front of a mirror or by candlelight. Bonus points, grab a gold or orange candle for that one. Dress like you mean it right now too, right? During this new moon, dress, even if you're staying home, like put on something that makes you feel bold and radiant. This is glamour magic, and you are embodying Leo's frequency by working with it. Now, Leo rules the heart, not just romantically, but, in the way we lead with love. So take time to breathe into your heart space. Place a hand over your heart and ask, what do I want to create? Set some visibility intentions too during this new moon, whether it's showing up online, asking for a raise maybe, or finally sharing your poetry. Leo wants you to be seen. So set one intention around being visible in a way that just honors your truth. And you know what? Play. Play during this new moon. Seriously, Leo energy is ruled by the sun and children, so let yourself play. It raises your frequency and fuels manifestation. So dance, laugh, be silly, chase joy. This Leo new moon is really an amazing time just to step into visibility with intention. Whether you're running a business, launching a spell series, or sharing your voice a little bit more, just maybe giving yourself permission to glow. Let this be a reset for yourself, for your self-expression. 2025 has already stretched us, hasn't it? So this new moon, it says you've done the work. Now show the world who you are becoming. Thank you guys. Thank you for staying with me today and celebrating the Wheel of the Year, this time with the Lughnasadh harvest. I hope you have a great dark moon. Please rest and enjoy. I hope you have a wonderful new moon where you can play and dance. I will be thinking of you guys this week and weekend while I am doing the same. And I will talk with you next week. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.